Okay. Alrighty. So we're going to go back. There are two. Actually, now there are three major issues. Does anybody want to identify them? We'll have Delyn identify them if nobody else can come up with them. Three issues, guys. I've already mentioned two.
Sexual abuse. Abandonment.
Yes. And?
Sometimes.
Yeah, she's starting to really own her self-worth and come out of wanting to be abandoned. Once we're abandoned as children, as much as we hate it, it becomes what we know, and then that's our fortress. So we're not going to let anybody in, so we can't be abandoned. Right? And she's starting to let people in. And she's accepting that she wasn't abandoned. Not really.
Yeah.
Her dad didn't abandon her, even though he was divorced and had to be out of the house. He didn't abandon her. And her mother loved her, and all these people in her life loved her. But because she had protected herself by becoming an abandonment victim, she was keeping out love. And now the third is really, it's not an issue to work on so much, but it's like the third part in this line of developments. It's actually a healing movement within you. Okay, so let's look at the fire, Delyn, and let's say, when I was a little girl, I was sexually abused.
When I was a little girl, I was sexually abused.
Nobody knew.
Nobody knew.
Nobody wanted to know.
Nobody wanted to know.
I was on my own.
Actually,
Okay. Okay, so that's energy that she hasn't fully owned. Can you see that her pain's rising up as she's saying this? So this is child. What happens is that our spirits get so filled with pain that one or two childlike parts of us will split off with that pain, and then they're rejected from the spirit and are outside of our consciousness now with that pain. Now we're still carrying around pain, but it's not as immediate, and it's kind of like background pain that we get used to because we're pretty strong, believe it or not. We finally get to a point where we are in so much pain that we can't handle it anymore, where we can't focus, we can't really function. You know, that's your spirit telling you, you got to look at this. Okay? It's time to look at this. But as children, we can do that, and a child can be crying in terrible pain and then immediately go, I'm going to go to the park tomorrow. Their face changes and they'll talk about something really positive. It's a new part of them coming out, and the other part has just left the spirit. Just like that. And you can see it with kids. Mothers see that and they go, whoa. They're sobbing, they're crying with that horrible pain and force that children can cry with. And then all of a sudden that stops and they say something funny or they say something hopeful. And it's just almost like a flick of a switch. And that's a part splitting off. The part that splits off is still crying and will still cry until they're brought back into the spirit again. So they're out there crying for years, stuck in that moment, frozen in time until they're brought back. Delyn is healing as we go. So by owning these things, it's a form of repentance.